Hi guys, welcome to the new video of the video series that we are releasing for API automation using REST assured, right? So in our last video, we have already seen that what is the architecture of REST API, and also we have seen that what all are the components we have there for REST assured API, and also we have seen the something about the Postman tool, right? Then what all are the components they are present for the Postman tool, how to use the tool, and we have also seen that we did one get request there, get API call also we have performed there in the by using the Postman tool, right? So we have discussed these things in our previous video. If you guys already not have seen or not went through the video, I will request you guys, please go through the last video and see all these informations, all these things that we have discussed there on this, on our previous video. In this video, I am going to discuss. I'm going to continue from there, and in this video, I'm going to discuss on post request and header and authentication part, right? So when I say header, there is two type of headers actually. One is your when what you are sending by with your request, and another is the something you are getting from the response. So there are two type of headers you will be seeing. You will be dealing with when you are working with the API automation or API test cases, right? We'll see on those things in later. And another thing is very important, there is one is authentication part. I'll discuss you there are different type of authentication is there for API auto API request. So what are the type of authentication are there, and what people are using mostly, and how to handle those API authentications in our script, right? So let's start on today's video. um, I, as we already discussed that there are different type of methods is present there for API right testing. So if you are going to hit any API to a server, so you definitely have to understand that which type of request you are going to put, right? So it can be your get request, it can be your post request, it can be your put request and delete request. And I think the uses of this all these particular methods you have already know about it, right? And if you see, uh, okay, now if you see that we have already seen get request. Get request is nothing but you are fetching some data, fetching some information from the server, right? So that is nothing but a get request. What is post request? Post request is nothing but that you are creating an entry, or you are creating some data, or you are entering some data into a server, right? So for that case you will be performing the post request. This is a general common term definition what discussing here right now. But this is always not mandatory. Always depending on the developer how they are defining their APIs. Now, if I talk about the put API, that is nothing but as per definition, it is saying that it is just to use for the update of the existing record. But it is always not. You can say mandatory that you have to always update. Definitely, it is also dependent on the developer. Sometimes developers do not use this post request; they use the post request to perform the update operation. Or sometimes you can. It's up to you. Means the developers who is developing the APIs. It's up to them, right? Another API that will be mostly using in your actual project, that is nothing but a delete request. Delete is nothing but you are deleting records from the server, right? One of the website where we'll be using that website for our test practice cases. We'll be using that website. Okay, so let me go to the website. There is one website, you can see dummyjson.com. And if you visit this website you will be getting a lot of dummy JSON's API. So you can play around with these APIs, and you can get hands on with the API calls, right? So here you can see we have a lot of in the left side panel bar. You can see there are a lot of APIs are listed there. You can see auth API is there, right? Login and get token, and then we have get auth user refresh token and products. There you can see there are a lot of products also available there, right? Get all product, get single product, and search products, link and skip products. So this kind of things that you can see here, right? So you can understand that if I click on this get all products, so it will take me to the request which is having the get request, right? Similarly, if you say, let's say I am talking about the add product, right? So definitely add product means you are going to put a new entry into the server. For now, this is so you can see that this is the JSON information. This is the API information they have provided. Here we can see that this is my API endpoint, and you can see the method is being used here is a post, right? So we can use this. Let's see, we'll take this API and we'll see into our uh, postman tool. So what you have to do, you have to first pick the API URL, right? So this is my API URL. I'll copy it in, and I'll go to the postman tool. Let's say I'm creating a new entry, and here I am adding it. At first I'm adding the API endpoint, right? So I'm done with the endpoint. Now, what is the next is I have to set the method. Now let's set the method. So I'll be setting it as a post, and after that you can see that headers I have to set, right? This is a header. So header should be content type, and the value is application slash JSON, right? So I have to set it there. So I will go to this tab headers. You can see it over here, and you can add your new headers over here. These are the by default headers already added by this tool, and if you want to add any new headers, then you have to add over here. So let me type content type. You can see, I can see here this is content type. So I'll take this, and here I need application slash JSON, right? So I'll type JSON, so I can see I'm getting application slash JSON. So that header value also I have set. Whatever header value they are expecting to see, they are expected to provide in the request, so I set that one also. Now what next you can see I have to set the body, right? So the body, here you can see it is a very simple JSON. Just we are passing one data, there is a title, and we are passing the title name, right? So only these things we have to take. So let's go to there, and we'll see this. We will add the body. Let's say this is my body, and here you can see for by default it is clicked on the none is selected. So if none is selected, you cannot edit the body, you cannot enter any data. So if you want to enter data in the body, so you can choose this particular radio button. You can see raw. Once you click on it, it is now you can see we can enter some data. So I have to create a body, right? JSON body. So JSON body always you can see I can have there is this parenthesis, curly parenthesis, right? So it should have key as a title. So I'll copy this one, and I'll add the key, and the value of this title, let's say BMW pencil, right? They are saying that the value is BMW pencil. Let's change this to BMW, I'd say uh, simply pen, right? So this is something data that I have to provide for doing and for adding any product, right? So this is the API which is used for adding a new product. So I am adding a product BMW pen, and I have set the request type as a post, and I have this API also set, and also I have set the headers. What is the type of the request is going to be, right? Now let's hit the request. So you can see if I do the send, you can see I'm getting status code. First of all, the status code I got as a 200, right? So that means my request got a success, right? Now you can see here I got the body. This is the body, and this body is returning me one ID, okay? And title is BMW pen, means whatever data I have passed as a title, that data is being returned to me, right? So this is how this add product is being working. Now you can see once I have post the request, the product is got added. But remember one thing, guys, this is you can say this is a dummy API, so it is not actually working in the real time scenario. Like here you can see they have clearly mentioned adding a new product will not add into the server, right? So that means you can add by yourself just to check how it is working, just to check how you're getting the responses, all these things for just for a dummy purpose, but it actually not going to add into the server database, right? So that's why once after adding the data after adding the product, you cannot verify. If you wanted to verify that, okay, I have added the product, and yeah, I have to verify that, okay, the product is got added or not, right? That things we cannot verify over here. But yeah, you can perform the post operation. You can verify the request status and something, all these details, right? So this is about the post request, and here we have seen that you can see the guys here. There are two headers. This is the header that we have set before request, right? Before request, we've set the header, and once we hit the send keys, we got the response. And here you can see another header. We can see here. This is the response that we are getting from the server, right? It is having the metadata of the response, means what is the type of data is coming, all this metadata it is coming, right? So you can see over here, uh, you can see that content type it is providing one of the metadata is content type, right? It is saying that application slash json, so that means that the data it is returning, it is in the json format. After that, it is providing the server name and all other details, right? You can understand these things. So these are the metadata, nothing but only the things is sometimes you have to verify that, okay, we are getting the content type as json slash application slash json or not, okay? Not all these metadata are important for verification. Yeah, definitely some of the metadata you have to verify. Might be you have to verify that, okay, content type is application slash json or not, right? So this kind of validation may be there. Also, you have to see this is the body of the response. There are two type of body. This is the body which is you're getting from the response, and the body we set for request, that is a response body, right? Similarly, status code 200 status code we have got, right, for this request. So this is about the post request, guys. Hope you are getting this one. So similarly, whatever the post request you will be getting, you have to understand that what all the parameters are needed for the post request, right? So if you have collected all this information, means you have to collect the endpoint URL, and you have to collect the method type, and after that any header information which is needed for the request, and what is the body is need to be passed, right? So if you got all these details, then uh, you will be able to perform the post request. And these are the details, header details, and endpoint URL, and the body details will be provided by the developer team. And your job is to just hit those APIs and verify the response, and you perform some negative testing. And negative testing in the sense whatever negative testing you perform in your daily job, so the same thing that you have to perform over here also, okay? We have seen that what is post request and how we are performing, what all details we need for performing a post request, right? Now let's see, we are going to see the how we can use the authentication details in our API calls, right? So before we jump into the actual authentication details, I just want to show you something here in the Postman authentication tool, that there are different type of authorization available here. In the sense, there are different type of authorization methods, right? Here you can see in this Postman tool, we have another tab as called Post Authorization, right? If you see, there is a type of authorization, and here we have a drop down. If you click on this drop down, you can see there are the different type of authorization are there, right? So one of the authorization is one is a no auth, in the sense for any API which is do not need any authentication. So in that case, it should be no auth, right? Or you may leave it as it is, right? You do not have to select anything over here. But there are some other APIs which may need to select, or which may need to provide the authentication details. So you have to select here what is the type of authentication you need. One of the authentication detail here, you can see basic auth. What is this? This basic auth is nothing but you are entering your user ID and password. It is similar to the user ID and password you use for any application to log in. So for that application, as similar to, you have to use your username and password. for the API hit, right? So if you right now this type of authentication is not in much use, so probably you won't be seeing that this kind of authentication in your work, right? So most of the cases the people are using here is bearer token. This is one type of authentication. Here you will be getting the token from somewhere, and you have to use the token. You have to enter the token over here, right? So with that, using the token, you will be able to hit the APIs. Another type of authentication you can see over here is Auth 2.0. This Auth 2.0 is mostly used right now. Nowadays, people are using this Auth 2.0. If I click on this Auth 2.0, you can see here also we have to. It is asking for the token, right? So the token you can see if I go to the below part, you can see it is also again type is bearer, right? So this is a prefix, means if you have got 2.0 kind of validation in your project, so that you have to pass the token with the prefix as bearer, right? So these are the different types of authentication. Mostly, there you may have bearer token or 2.0. Whatever is the token, you have to it is there in your project. So you have to go ahead with that approach. Let's let's see here the auth we have right now. You can see here auth. We have one API for login. So this API is simply you have to enter the user ID and password, and there is one parameter expired in means this is the parameter which say when this token is will be getting expired. When you hit this request, you can see we are getting one token, right? This is the token is get generated, and this is the token data, token value, right? So that means this when you hit this particular API, you will be able to log into the application. You will be get the all the details, and this is the token that you will be needing for getting the details from the user of the user, right? So let's see. I'll show you how to get this token, right? So I'm copying this API URL from over here, and I'm going to post main API. So I'll create a new API request. So it is postman, and the type you can see method is post, right? So I'll be selecting here as a post request, and content type is application slash JSON. So I'll be selecting here content type. It is application slash JSON, right? So I'll say application slash JSON, and here in the body you can see I need to pass this particular body. So I'll be copying it, and I'll do paste it over here. I need to do some modification. I have to, let's say, I need to use the double quote, and this is also inside should be double quote instead of single quote. Replace it with double quote, and below also I have to use the double quote, right? So this is my JSON data. Now, with this JSON data, I set the headers and I set the body, and I have also selected the type of request. What is the type of request? Now, if I try to hit the request, you can see I'm getting status code is 200. So that means the request is success, and also I got the token over here, right? So you can see I got the token, and this is the token value, right? So this token value you can copy from here. So let's say I want to create, I want to get the details, user details from there, right? So let's say another API they have provided, that is get auth user, right? This this is the API which will providing me the odd user details, right? So I'm copying this API from here. I'm going to Postman and I'm entering it, and method should be get, and I have to set the header. But first let's see that without header details, what if I try to hit the request, what I am getting, right? You can see there is a we are message we are getting authentication problem, and you can see the status code is 403, right? So that means I have to use the authentication. So for authentication, you can see we have to set the header, right? And the keyword should be authorization. So I have to go to the headers and I have to set here authorization, right? So this is the key. I have to use it, and here I have to pass the data with the prefix as bearer. So in the value I'll be saying bearer, and I have to use the coupon, right? Sorry, token ID. The token ID is generated over here, so you can just simply copy and paste it. Let me select it and copy it. Well, I have selected and copied it. I'll be entering it over here. So I'll say this is my bearer token, right? So I have set the bearer token. So let's hit the request. You can see now I got the 200 status code, right? So that means my authentication got successful, right? And you can see if I enter a incorrect token ID, right? So let's say I'm entering one, and if I do hit the request, then you can see it's saying that invalid token, right? So that means it is working properly. So this is how the authentication works in API request, right? So this is auth token, this is bearer token we have provided, this is the ID, and we are saying that bearer is a prefix, and we have to enter the token ID. After that, you have to hit the request. Once you hit, and it will give you the response, right? User details you are getting. So this is how the authentication works. I hope you have understood what the methodology, how the authentication works. First, you will be actually dealing with the two APIs. One API is to get the authentication details, to get the token, and by using the token, you can get into the other details of the other API details, right? It is similar kind of, let's say you're logging to an application. First of all, you have to enter your credential for logging to application. After that, only you will be able to see the inside details of the application, right? The similar methodology is used here also. Your one API is to deal with the token ID that you have to generate. Once the token is generated, now you can use that token for your uh, consequence request. If you want to go and perform some other request, let's say you want to get the user details or some other action you want to perform, so you have to use that token. The token, you can see here we have provided the expires in means it is the token is generated which is valid for 30 minutes. If you try to hit the request by using this token after 30 minutes, that definitely you will be not able to get the user details, means it will be invalidated or the token will be expired, right? Okay, so I think that's all for this video, and in our next video we'll see more details on this token and how it is getting expired. We'll explore on these things, and after that we'll see one another request. There is update request is there also, update and delete. This request also will be seeing in our next video. Okay, and I'm closing this video over here. We'll see you in next video. Thank you.